How did you get into home service in general?
I first started in new home renovations in Pennsylvania. I was in HVAC at the age of 18, so I had dropped out of high school at 16. At 18 years old, there was a company called Hannaberry HVAC in Pennsylvania. My supervisor, Kyle, I just saw like he was just crazy efficient. I was always intrigued by this. He had like a sheet metal template cut out, and he already knew based off the home how to measure and then use this template. So he would have me get ahead of him. He's like, I want you to template this whole house. You have to measure, boom, boom, boom. So when I would get ahead of him, he would start cutting behind me. And I was like, Kyle, how do I become a supervisor? And he told me, he goes, Joel, you see those guys over there? They're drinking alcohol, right? They're having beers and lunch and whatnot. He's like, don't be like those guys. At that time, I was 18 years old. I moved up to supervisor in 6 months.
Wow. So HVAC, I didn't know that. Sounded like you had a mentor early on with that guy.
I didn't look at it that way, but yeah.
I feel like as entrepreneurs, you kind of know, but you can't put your nose on like what direction to go sometimes. Did you ever feel like, because you go through that first mentor, then you kind of level up to a guy who seems like he's more successful, right? Did you ever feel like there's levels to humans?
I had to paint the path.
What if you had something like this?
Going to be a little bit controversial maybe.
When you shift your operating pattern, just journal, brain dump, and just execute what your brain just put on paper.
Most painters don't have the finances down to a science.
Look, I've been here for like a minute. Feel like some of y'all forgetting. I got it high in the city. First one.
What is going on, guys? Aiden Smith, Paint Your Path podcast. I am here from my renovated office. I don't got my regular setup, but we're still going, still consistent weekly. And we got a very special episode for you guys. We got Joel Mercado in the house, co-host, as always. What's up, brother?
What's up, my man? How you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm good. We're live. The house, I feel like we're at a stride where I can sit back a little bit in the next few weeks. So we're in the last like 7th inning stretch, but it's a house. So you know how it is. There's always something.
I'm excited for you, man. This is awesome.
Yeah, man. So this episode we're gonna do something a little different. We've had a lot of good feedback lately. Like a lot of people have reached out to me and just been saying like, hey, you know, I've been loving the pod. You know, I've been listening to you guys for a while, and we really encourage anybody to come on and reach out to us. You know, like send us a DM, get acclimated with who we are and what we do, because it's only going to help you, man. Like me and Joel put out some fire content, some fire resources, and we want you to benefit from that, right? And we have free school communities, all different types of stuff that we offer that are free services. So like we always just want to make sure that we add value first. And if you decide you can find a home with one of our programs, that's always something that we'll entertain, of course. But I really want to take this time to like highlight Joel a little bit, get to know him a little bit more, even for myself. Like we've known each other for so long, you know, already, but I feel like there's certain things that I continue to just want to discover about you and your growth also, dude. Since I've known you, I mean, the growth and the before and after of like where we started and where you started this journey to where you are now, it just speaks to like, man, just the value you've been given to people. So I want to highlight that. I want to focus on that this episode, and it's going to be a really good one.
Appreciate you. The next one, I'll highlight you.
Yeah, we'll figure that out. I feel like you highlight me already enough, man. So I appreciate it.
Hey,
But yeah, speaking to that, man, Joel, like, I don't want it to sound like, you know, I think we've covered it a little bit, but I think it's very important that these guys get to know where you are mentally, where you came from, and what you're about. So, man, how did you get into home service in general? So not coaching, just in general with home service. And let's start there.
Yeah, man, it's a great question. A lot of people don't know the backstory, and they don't know the mindset I had about blue collar at the time, which is crazy. I first started in new home renovations in Pennsylvania. I was in HVAC at the age of 18. So I had dropped out of high school at 16, went full-time working. And at 18 years old, there was a company called Hannaberry HVAC in Pennsylvania. So I did new construction. And within the first 6 months, I shout out to Kyle. I haven't talked to him in ages. Do the math, right? I was 18 years old. But my supervisor, Kyle, I just saw like he was just crazy efficient. I'm like, dude, like this dude would put all his pipes, he would manage it and have all of his like flex piping and everything in order in the garage. And then I always thought it was really cool watching him just start doing the cut-ins because new construction, right? We're working with no drywall. It's just all
Mm-hmm.
framed out. We're cutting in all of the vents and everything that we're going to put all the piping through to work from upstairs from the attic all the way down to the basement at the East Coast. So I was always intrigued by this. I was like, this guy, like, he would
Dialed
have like
in.
a template. Yeah, dude, like he had like a sheet metal template
Mm-hmm.
cut out, and he already knew based off the home how to measure and then use this template. So he would have me get ahead of him. He's like, I want you to template this whole house. You have to measure, boom, boom, boom. So when I would get ahead of him, he would start cutting behind me. And I just
Mm.
thought that was so interesting. And I was like, Kyle, how do I become a supervisor? How do I get the van? How do I get the Nextel? Because he had the Nextel back in the day, you know?
The
And
next, I'm a little
yeah,
too young for that.
that's why I'm like, dude, you got to ask those questions. We're going to hit some game today. But yeah, I wanted the Nextel. I wanted the gas card. I wanted the van. I was so intrigued by it. And he told me, he goes, Joel, you see those guys over there? They're drinking alcohol, right? They're having beers and lunch and whatnot. He's like, don't be like those guys. You want to move up in life? He's like, watch what I do, watch my efficiency and how fast you'll move up in the company. So at that time, I was 18 years old. I moved up to supervisor in 6 months. And everybody that was been there for years was like, who's this young kid already over exceeding me? I was locked in, dude. I've always
Mm.
had that mindset of I need to be the best, period, no matter what I did. And at that time when I was growing up, a lot of people, especially my family, always wanted me to go to college and do more of a corporation, not so much the trades. And I was lost, man. I had that mindset of like, this isn't what I want to do. So I got into the gym industry, I got in the car industry, I got into martial arts, a lot of different things. And then
Yeah.
fast forward, I went from 18 years old doing that to not getting into the trades until my 30s, right? And fast forward, I ended up meeting my mentor about 13 years ago who owned multiple painting companies. And he always told me, if you want what I have, you got to learn painting. And painting is the stepping stone that makes you rich. And then I'm going to teach you wealth, which is real estate. So that's how my journey started.
Wow. So HVAC. I
Yep.
didn't know that.
Yeah. A lot of people don't know that.
That's interesting, man. So you
Yeah.
had like an idea of how high level trade should run, you know?
Correct.
Like you
Mhm.
saw the hey, what to do, what not to do, and it sounded like you had a mentor early on with that guy.
I didn't look at it that way, but yeah, he was already mentoring me, and then he became my supervisor. I took his position. He moved up in the company, and
Hmm.
it's kind of crazy how it works, man. But I wasn't ready. I was too young, and
Right.
my mindset back then was still, doing dumb things. So, but I did move up very quickly, and I learned a lot from him. So yeah, you're right. I guess I did have a mentor in him.
Dude, it's crazy too because like I feel like as entrepreneurs, you kind of know, but you can't put your nose on like what direction to go sometimes, you know?
Yes.
Because you just want to do so much and you know there's a learning curve, but you want to get to it fast and you're like, shit, you know, and then you're like regressing, you're progressing, and then you meet people along the way and it becomes super interesting. But you remain that hungry guy, right? That
Oh
hungry
yeah.
individual. Did you feel like you had that early on? I mean,
Oh yeah. Ever since I was a kid, I mean, I always knew I wanted to do something. Like it was just in my blood. Like I always knew I would do something. I didn't know what I would do. But the I will was always in my head. That's never
yeah.
been cut off. I always will do something is how I was brought up.
Did you ever feel like, because you go through that first mentor, then you kind of level up to a guy who seems like he's more successful, right? He's like managing companies and stuff. Did you ever feel like there's levels to humans?
I it's interesting. Yeah, I did look at it that way when I was younger. I looked at people as like superstars. Like I was like, oh my God, they have something I will never be. But if I can at least get close to it, I've achieved everything. That was always my mindset at a young age. And now, fast forward, dude, you know how many people I've met that have done a lot of great things in their life? And I'm like, they're not any special than I am, or you, or anybody else.
Yeah.
They just happen to be very consistent at it and they did it at a high level. But it doesn't mean they're that much different than us. And that shift for me this past, I'd say the last 5 years of my life, I'm like, dude, I've I've trained professional fighters. I've been with very high elite guys, and I'm like, there's no different. Like, you don't
Right.
operate any different than me, except that you're just consistent and you drive and you're super disciplined. That's the one thing I've noticed. These high achievers, the discipline is just out of this world. That's the
Right.
difference, is the discipline.
No, I totally agree. And I think that's one of the things that I love about you is just how consistent you are since I've met you,
Yeah.
and I think it's even gotten better, to be
Yes.
honest. Like, even if you look at like our early podcasts and then now, I mean, dude, presentation a lot
Yeah.
better, right? Your physique a lot better.
Yep.
And your overall, I would say the standard of like your just your presence, dude. I mean, online marketing, the people you surround yourself with, like, I think people are now understanding like this is what it takes. And then when people get around you, their standards rise as well and their discipline rises as well. Cause you kind of have to,
100%.
you
Yeah.
can't have somebody like you around and then not like, because why are we in a relationship? It makes no sense. You're not there yet, right? You can help them get there. And it's exactly what you do, but it's like, you worked on yourself for a long time and now you're kind of seeing it didn't happen overnight, right? Because as entrepreneurs we're just trying to get to it, but then you look back and you probably have a little bit, you're appreciating that journey a little bit more.
Brother, you know what's crazy? I was just talking to my wife last night. I was just telling her how much at peace I am in the first time of my life. And what a lot of people don't realize is we're chasing money, we're chasing success. We never chase love and peace. So my whole world is flipped around. I already know how to make money. I know how to run a business. I know how to get in shape. I know how to train people. I didn't know how to find love and peace. That was the ultimate flex for me, right? Is when I started going, wow, I'm operating at love and peace. Like my frequency right now is always at ease. I'm never stressed
Mm.
out. And the reason why is because I choose love and peace every single time. The moment stress comes around my plate, I get rid of it. I go, no, that's too much. I couldn't understand that at a younger age. Now I'm always just like, if it's not serving, I'm not doing. It's that simple. And I've learned that the hard way through these years of just hustle and grind and grit. You know what I mean?
It's almost like because you're so consistent with things and because you're so dialed in that whatever it is it's going to be, right, and you're okay with that.
Yes, yes,
That's
yes.
interesting because, like, I always, the way I'm wired, I don't know why. It's like a funnel, right? It's like, dude, you're doing everything you can to just continue to go through that funnel. And then once it goes out of line a little bit, you're like, look, that's bound to happen. You
Yep,
know,
yep.
I've seen this too many times in too many ways. And then when people come to you with problems, it's like you get to kind of steer them a little bit.
Yeah. Well, when you operate in peace, man, you can't let other people's urgencies become yours now.
Mm,
And I think that's something that it's a skill that you learn over time, that as a leader you can regulate your mood at the highest level, where now, and that's the one thing I caught from these guys. They don't get overwhelmed. They're so locked in and focused that there's no room for overwhelm. There's no room for that stress because they have such clarity on the mission. And then what I started learning from that was, wow, well, coaching all these other leaders, I got to be the same way for them. And if I'm not the same then for them, then what's going to happen? Something's going to crack, or they're going to be overwhelmed, and then they start losing. They're not seeing the results they're seeking. And that was like a learning experience for me, even through my own businesses and now coaching other businesses. It's important to regulate mood. And you guys have heard me say this often, right?
hmm
And it's one of those things I talk about. Stephen Covey, he talks about the circle of influence. What happens is if we get really crammed in and we get overwhelmed and stressed and anxious, your circle literally goes like this. It shrinks. That's why we get a physical response, which is that, oh, I feel this tightness in my throat. I feel this
mm,
tightness in my chest. I don't know what's going on. Well, that's because your circle of influence has become overwhelmed. And when you can go, man, I got an overabundance of love, an overabundance of happiness, and an overabundance of money, an overabundance of great relationships and people, there's no time to react.
yeah.
And there's just that room to make better decisions, which that expansion gets even better. So that's why I like that circle of influence.
Damn. Yeah, dude. I mean, seriously, right? If you look at like the highest level guys and you have a conversation with them, they're not going to bring what's going on to that conversation. You know what I
Yes.
mean?
Yes.
So, and
100%.
dude, I'm not going to lie. Like when I first met you, if you called me on the wrong day or if we had a meeting scheduled and something wasn't going right, dude, I was showing up and you knew, you
Oh, yeah.
know? You probably are like, yeah, for
Brother,
sure.
even your shift, and since we've started doing the podcast, it is insane how much you've shifted, right? And there's nothing better than knowing when an outside party can say, hey, great job, I've seen your change. Like, I met your boy Shane at the Contractor Domination, and he's like, man, it's so cool watching your guys' growth. And I never even thought of it that way.
Right.
Like seeing our first episode to where we're at today and hearing somebody else other than you, me, Tanner, and anybody else saying, I've seen your growth, an outside
Yeah.
party like that I just first met. He's like, dude, I could see your office changing. I could see the way you guys spoke is different. Like, what a
Yeah.
beautiful gift to see that and track that as well. It's amazing.
Oh, damn near 100 episodes in. Shit better be
It
changing.
better get better.
You know what I'm saying?
Right?
You coach Satori, right?
Yes.
So I don't know Satori. Seems like a fun guy. It's
He
like
is fun.
the best word I could think of. But he said something recently that I want to kind of highlight. Maybe you could speak on this a little bit because
Sure.
you know who you interact with now and the people that you're around, your group, and the people just like networked with. I'm sure there's a lot of stuff going on. Texts, calls, meetings, conversations, people wanting you to do different obligations and events. He put a post out that basically was like, hey, I got a lot of shit going on. I got a lot of people trying to hit me up. Like, I missed the time when it was just me and I was dealing with my own shit and I was like free. And obviously, he's a high level guy. He's going to deal with it and be fine. But like, I felt that when I was reading that. And I'm just like, damn, like, I remember, dude, I can be on my couch and not even think about my phone. And like, dude, those were like, you're present, you're there. Where entrepreneurship, you really have to be ready for that mental battle and that mental struggle of like, when do I respond to someone when they text me on a whim with some urgent stuff? Whether it's an employee, a colleague, a person that you're like, hey, he's in my inner circle, right? How do you deal with that storm of things? Because I know you got a lot going on.
Oh, 100%. Here's the biggest thing. When I see guys posting like that, obviously I know the stuff behind the scenes because I personally am talking to them. I love that. You know why? Because I know that they're that close to a massive change in their life. Like, it just measures something big's about to happen. Or the reverse, it tells me a lot about their character and what flaws that I need to help fill in to teach them as a leader. Because what happens is when a lot of guys get busy, they think they're busy, but they're not productive being busy, right? There is a huge difference. And I love watching you guys online. Don't get it twisted. I watch everybody. I'm taking notes. I'm paying attention to your patterns and your behaviors. And then if we have a coaching call, I'm talking about it, right? And the reason why is this. I used to say yes to everything. And I looked like Satori's post the other day by saying yes. In fact, I have a post that's about to come out soon. It's called The Power of No. And the reason why I recorded that is there's more power in no than yes, because then the right opportunities come up because you said no enough to acknowledge I'm extending myself way too much to all these yeses. And it's important. I didn't understand that for a long time. And when I started saying no, the right opportunities would come in. My energy would be at the highest level. Even though I'm operating very busy, I didn't feel exhausted because I'm fulfilling the things I want to do, right? Versus doing what I think I need to do. So they call that the Pareto principle. And I think we've talked about this before in the past, where 20% of your effort should produce you 80% of the results. So that means, where's your energy going? Is it in people? Is it in outside sources? And I'm constantly measuring behaviors all day long. That's why I'm always texting people. Hey, you have a moment? I never just call somebody. If I call someone, then that means I need you to pick up. I probably
Facts.
There's something going on.
I'm guilty of this. Yeah, I'll just call you on a whim and be like, "Yo, look at this." That's me, bro.
Not often can I answer, right? You know that, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
But that's built by design, because then you guys know, and I mean, you guys, everyone is saying that, hey, like, I'm busy doing something. If you text me, I'll always say, hey, I'm available at such and such time. That's the importance of understanding your block scheduling. And I'm the same way. I get excited. I might be in the middle of something and want to call you guys and FaceTime you and be like, dude, check this out. But it's something that I know I won't take an hour of your time either, right? But I think, when guys are doing this, what happens is they get overwhelmed because they just keep building and building. Now, one thing I want to give advice to everyone that's listening right now: and I say this, Satori's built different, and I know it because I know him personally. Do not try to do multiple things at once. This kid is wired that way, and it's how his brain operates. In fact, I've tried putting him in a box. I really did. I'm like, oh, he operates like me. Good luck trying to put him in a box. It
Yeah,
don't
he's
work.
like a cat.
Yeah, it
He's
ain't gonna
gone.
work. So that's his superpower. So now I got to work within those superpowers for him to keep him aligned, and that's what we did. That's why he's
Yeah.
able to handle it, and then he can catch himself and he can actually reflect. But there are some people that just need to stay focused on one thing and stop putting their energy on multiple things because they haven't mastered one, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I want to definitely highlight that for anyone that's listening. Stop, don't get distracted. Get rid of all the distractions. Be super focused and dialed in, and watch what happens. And get used to being like business is so freaking boring, dude. It's so boring. There's nothing exciting about it. So try to make it fun, right? But get really good at that and watch how much success you see in your business.
Yeah. Do the what is it called? The nominal things?
Yeah, so they
Just
say
like,
like the mundane like
yes, the
tasks.
mundane tasks, right? That's
Yeah,
gonna get you success. I love that.
yeah,
Um, I had something for you before I go into that. Guys, I don't know if
yes.
you can see this.
Let's
Paint Your
go.
Path merch is here. Just had to make sure it was the right, I don't want to ever send any BS to somebody. So if we're going
Yes,
to do it, we're going to do it right. We got the Paint Your Path shirts, guys. Going to
coming
be in
out
stock
soon.
here soon, but trust me, this is it right here. So
100%.
I'm excited. We got some merch coming in. Um, and it takes me back to like priorities. Keep the main thing the main thing. What's the highest level task you can do in your business, and how do you put yourself in a position to do that more and more? And
Yeah,
when you think that, oh, I'm doing it a lot, you got to do it more, right? Because that's going to generate the most, whether it's revenue, impact. That's the leadership side of things. And I want to shout out our sponsor, DripJobs. If you're
yes,
looking for an all-in-one CRM for painting businesses, gutter businesses, epoxies, home service, guys, this is not limited to painters. DripJobs is your go-to. Path 30, PATH 30. You get 30% off for 3 months. We use it. We love it. Shout out to our sponsor, DripJobs. Tanner, he'll text me and he'll just give me advice like on a whim, man. He'll just be like, you need to do this and make that your only task. And right now he put me on with content. It
yeah,
was like, you need to make that the number one thing you do in your entire life right now. He's like, when it comes to business, you need to make content because that's what you're good at. That's what's working. That's what's going to get the most eyeballs. That's how you're going to get the most impact on your business. And I'm taking action on that shit, man. Like I respect, you, Tanner, all these guys that I see as people that know me, my situation. And like anybody could just throw in 2 cents. But when you know somebody and what's going on, you take action, So that's
100%.
what we're doing. Come September, that's going to be my main job, aside from the painting business, of course. But
Dude,
yeah, when it comes to Paint Pro, that's it.
that one post with you sliding in with and you're looking all adorable by the paint cans. I was like, I can watch
Yeah,
you
man.
all day with that kind of content, man. Like that is G, man.
We're trying to switch it up.
I love it, man.
We're
Keep it
trying to
up.
keep the trades interesting. You know what I'm
Yes,
saying?
yes.
So cool, man. And I think like you said, right? Or like we were talking about, when the standard rises and you do these things,
Yeah,
you'll see the results and you'll see what comes out of it. And like for you, you're getting these high level guys that are now trusting you to help them build their business because they've seen you done big things in your career with your home service businesses.
yeah,
They've seen you now build multiple 7-figure businesses, probably more than a dozen now, whatever the case may be. You get to now say, hey, I can confidently help you. And I'm interested in that, man. I'm interested in, where did the coaching start? Where did this transition come from for, hey, I'm in the trades, I get it, took a little bit off for sales and whatnot. Now I'm back with a mentor. When did you say, hey, I want to be a coach now? Like when did that transition happen?
yeah. So it's interesting. I've always been a coach. I just never looked at it that way. Um, and the reason why I say that is because even when 21 years ago, when I was in the sales industry, I was always coaching. Like I was coaching multiple gyms. I was coaching sales programs and I was putting in SOPs for sales reps and how to overcome objections. I was always coaching. And then I got into martial arts. Guess what? I was coaching, being in people's corners and being their coach and literally teaching them how to jab cross and do a roundhouse. And I just never looked at being a coach as a business coach. It just never really dawned on me. And then what really happened was I noticed my mentor for 13 years, he kept repeating the same thing to me for 13 years. He was like, dude, there's nothing else. And I kept saying, like, what else? He's like, what do you mean? There is nothing else. I'm like, what? You've been teaching me the same thing over and over again for 13 years.
Mm.
And what really locked in for me to understand with coaching was, A, I'm obsessed with people. I love people, man. Dude, I can, if you saw me at a mall sitting outside and you said hi to me, I'll spit game with you for hours. I'm just that guy. I love people. I genuinely love people. And I always tell people, if you trying to get into coaching, you better like people, because if you don't, it's going to be a tough industry for you. Right? Because we deal with different personalities and you better be ready for that. But when I finally made a decision, I really made the hard decision about 3 years ago. And that's because I saw a gap. And I also internally felt that I wasn't getting what I needed. And I was misaligned. So that's where I wanted to leave my partnerships. I wanted to exit. I started really pushing that story because I was like, I am on a bigger mission. Like, I can't just be teaching 5 businesses. That's not serving God's plan. Yes, it was a warm up for me, but God's plan is in the masses. And my goal was always to serve people at the highest level. I keep telling everybody since I was a kid, I kept saying, ever since I was a kid, I'm going to do something big and I'm going to help people. I'm going to change people's lives. I can't do that in just 5 companies. The masses is so broad that what can I do in the broad spectrum, which is coaching? I can be online, right? How to get over that fear, because I've been doing content for the last 8 years straight, right? People forget that. I've been talking to my IG for 8 years straight, documenting my life. And the craziest part, if you guys go back to my videos from when I first started this Instagram handle, I'm still talking about the same thing for 8 years straight. Coaching cycle, GSNR, quadrant matrix, effective listening, 1-3-1 rule, all of the stuff that I still coach today. You can watch the documentation for the last 8 years. The difference is I perfected it. I executed it. I saw it in my businesses, and now I'm implementing in other people. But at the end of the day, to answer your question, I love seeing people win. It's one of my, like, when I see someone win, I get so excited. Like, the win for them, it's as if it was my income. It was like if it was my family, it was my business, my painters. Like, I literally feel like it's mine. And that's a full reward to me that I just go, man, I'm so happy I was able to direct them a different way than them going somewhere else and going through the pain I went through. Dude, I've gone through so much darkness, depression, and sadness in my life that I don't ever want anyone to feel that. Ever. Like, what I felt, brother, the stories, if I had time to tell you, you wouldn't believe the man you see today. You'd be like, there's no way. Like, bro.
Well, we got about minimum 100 more episodes, so we don't have a lot of time to unpack.
Yeah, that pain of life that I went through was a great lesson to never let other people. I literally feel people's pain. Like, there's something about me being an empath, and that's why I love coaching. I literally, like, even when I'm on stage, I could just see right through someone and go,
yeah,
they're hurting. And I can't even not tell them something. I have to. That's just me. So coaching makes sense.
That's pretty intense. I love it though, man. Yeah, you're right, dude. That's one thing I've learned. It is really a people's and relationships business. You know, I kind of have a hot take on this, man. Like, if we're gonna do business, bro, I have to get paid.
Well, yeah.
And here's the thing: it's not just because, like, oh, like, I need the money or anything like that. It's like, I'm gonna be so all in. I know you feel the same way. And we're gonna get tied up mentally, emotionally, like, and if you're not into that, hey, it's probably not the best fit, to be honest, because 100%. We go all out. You know, if you want to be in a machine and just get some templates and, like, hey, some general advice, there's a lot of programs out there like that. But like, I think where we kind of connect is the fact that we're so in it with the people. And like, for me, it like, if all goes to shit, at least like my effort and all was paid. So I feel like it's fair. But
Yep.
like, if someone's not in it monetarily, a lot of times they don't take it as serious anyway. And it's kind of like now we're off and the balance is off and it's not even as effective as it would be, you know?
100%. You know,
So,
I couldn't agree more with you because then you already know. And I love your heart too, Aiden, because like the people don't hear or see the things we do behind scenes. And I remember you even telling me, hey man, like I just want to make sure I take care of these guys because there's other people that also are in need and I want to help, right? I think people don't hear those conversations, so they just think all these things. No different than how many times I've coached people for free just
yeah,
because I know they were all in and I was just trying to get them across the hurdle, and I got them across the hurdle. Like your heart needs to be in the right place when you're doing this business, because if it's not, and it's only about money, then of
yeah,
course that's where you get the templates, right? But when it's about the people, we're gonna be on your side. We are your business partner, and we don't
yeah,
take it lightly. Like I get offended when someone doesn't do their task. It's almost like you work for me and it doesn't get done. I'm like, dude, like, do you want to lose? Do you want your business to fail? Like, I get offended by it. And I
I
know you
agree.
do too, dude. That's just how we're built, dude.
Dude, I remember recently, and this is guys like, I want everybody who owns a home service business, painting business, whatever, to listen to this, dude. You got to be this serious about your business, about
Yeah.
serving people because people's families are on the line, right?
Wow.
And I remember I was on a, because what I do with my coaches, I do the first at least 3 months with their first two clients because I just want to make sure, like, yes, you went through the program, you've been transformed, but I want to make sure that you know how to convey that to our
Yeah.
guys and have the same intensity and care and all that kind of stuff. So I'm going through it, and it's me and one of my coaches, and we have a client, and the client just, for whatever reason, isn't taking action, right? He's like, nah, I think that's pretty good. I don't know if I need to change much right now. And I just was like, we're 3 months in, dude. You got 3 months left in your contract. Like, what are we going to do?
Yeah.
I think we might want to think about ending this relationship because if you're not willing to do what we're saying, which is like we've proven this track record time and time again, it's the reason that we have a good coaching business because the blueprint works, and you're not willing to take action on that. He's a little bit younger, so he's a little bit stubborn.
Of
I
course.
just said, where do we go from here? You tell me,
Yeah.
because I'm not hopping on this call and just talking about nothing and not getting anything done. If that's what you want, again, we're not aligned. And that's okay.
Yeah.
But I need to set that line and say, like, what do we do? Thankfully, he came back around and now things are going good. But like, if you're not ready for that, I mean, honestly, neither of our coaching is probably the best fit.
Well, I think no coaching is the best fit at that point,
Right,
right?
right, yeah,
Like,
100%.
let's
But
be real. Like, that's why you're in the situation you're in. And I think a
yeah,
lot of people don't understand that. It's like, dude, let's be real. You can find everything we coach, you can find online for free. The difference is the accountability and how we operate. We understand something, which is we've run our own businesses. We know what it takes, what effort and energy you need to do. Just do it. And we're not going to sit here and listen to excuses. We're going to support you and we're going to empathize in your situation if something's legit. But if
sure.
it's a habit that's getting in your way, we're not going to sit there and be like, oh, yeah, Aiden, that's okay. No, you're right. Like me and Aiden, I think that's why you and I get along so well. We're very no bullshit kind of guys. We're like, we'll just get it done, man. Like,
Yeah.
what are you talking about? And I think that's what helps, man. Like, people need to hear that. I know for damn sure when I first started, I needed that because I would make excuses all the time. I would be like, oh, well, the painter felt this way. Listen, feelings won't get you very far, right? You
Right.
got to get things done and you got to push through. Do I feel for people? Always. But you got to know how to separate that and get rid of the excuses. Because
Mhm.
if we allow the excuses to happen, we're allowing you to fail. And then we're not doing our jobs as mentors. So it's not good.
Yeah, this bit brings me to a little bit of an interesting topic, right? Because you just announced your sales training program,
Yep.
and I think that this ties perfectly into, hey, how do we keep it from being too emotional though? Right? Like
Yeah.
like you just saw my guy Oscar leave. He was my first sub. I trust him, dude. We're basically family at this point just because our relationship and whatnot. But
Yeah.
at the same time, I need to make sure that that professionalism is there, that there's boundaries. So like when you're training these guys and not just the sales rep, but their team overall,
Yeah.
like how do you toe that balance of emotional versus, hey, here's the stuff we have to do. And I know things pop up, just like we're talking about with the coaching. How do they be coaches for their team without going too far into the personal and too relationship wise?
Yeah, that's a great question. You know, there's the 1 Minute Manager book. It talks about being a buddy versus a boss. And I had to learn that the hard way because I was like, I think I was 23 years old when I read that book. And my manager gave me that because I was friendly with everyone. Everybody's just like,
Hmm.
oh, Joe. I was their GM. I'm 23 years old. And unfortunately, I was partying with them too, right? So that didn't look very good. We're all hungover going to a gym. Talking about fitness and health and trying to close deals. And I was their leader, right? And when he told me that book, it hit me. And ever since then, I'm always friendly with people. I'm always got an open door policy. Just don't ever get it twisted. This is one thing I always talk about. So it's called roles, goals, expectations. I'm always going to tell you, I'm your leader. Don't ever cross that line. The day you cross that line, I have no problem letting you know it. And do not be offended by it. Now, I do have an open door policy. I always want us to feel like family. I truly believe in that, right? Because like I want people to trust in me that they can come to me with anything. Because as a leader, you should be able to guide your people and they shouldn't fear you and shouldn't go, oh, if I come to Joel, I don't know how he's going to react. That's not a great leader to me, right?
Yeah.
I would rather have someone know they can come to me about anything, but there's still that fine line. So the fine line needs to be set day one. I'll be friendly with you. We could be like family. Don't ever cross the line. You cross the line, I'm going to tell you. And I'm going to put you
Yeah.
back. Like I'm going to physically, if I have to, move you to that line again so that you understand where we stand. But I think a lot of people never have that conversation.
Yeah.
The intent
I
is,
agree.
but they don't have that conversation. So if you start with that conversation and you correct them, you shouldn't feel bad about it because you've already had the conversation. And if they took it wrong, you should be able to sleep at night just fine, knowing that you gave them the conversation. That's the thing about human behaviors is that humans want to be heard and known and felt, right? So give that to them. That's
Yeah.
human nature. But set the expectations as a leader in the beginning. If you don't do that, you've already failed as a leader. And I think that's the biggest thing for you guys.
That's the key, man. And I'm going to push back on a little bit of what you said earlier of like you can find anything that we teach online. I know you kind of were just like
Yeah,
blanket
yeah,
statement, but like, dude, just recently, one of the guys in my coaching, he wanted to bring on a sub, brought him on, bad experience. And then we talked and we were like, well, what expectations did you set?
yeah,
You
yeah,
know, like what was the conversations like? Did you go through the hiring and onboarding section, all this kind of stuff? And no, no, well, I glanced at it. Well, we kind of he gave me good, feelings. I thought he was good, and it's like you have to go into every business relationship setting the most expectations possible.
yes,
It's just like handing off a work order from a sales rep to a project manager. If you don't set them up for success and say, "Hey, here's exactly what this looks like and how you can have success," something's going to go wrong. Something's bound to go wrong. And
100%.
I think that's the perfect thing you said of like set that expectation and like you're big on GSNR, so that means you obviously have KPIs. Hey,
Yes,
how many calls did you make? How many door hangers did you hand out? How many calls did you miss? All these things that you can say, hey, let's take the emotion out of it. Let's just look at
yes,
the actions and what actually is required for us to win. And if those actions aren't being done and happening, what are we doing?
yeah.
Now we're just setting ourselves up for failure, and we're coming into this meeting and it's like we're both looking like we have egg on our face. you
Man, I
know
love how you said that. You're so right. That's why I love numbers because I have no emotional attachment to it. Like if you did the 50 dials and you did this and you did that, you should get X outcome. If you didn't, we'll just coach you on it. There's no emotional attachment to that. But if
hmm
you didn't, now I know I can immediately direct you and go, well, you didn't do 50 calls. You didn't do this. You didn't do the canvassing. You didn't do the door knocking. You didn't check with the office to make sure you had enough estimates for the week. I don't feel bad for your results. In fact, I'm going to now hold you accountable to it. Why?
yeah.
So, they shouldn't feel the same either, right? Like they should be like, oh, I didn't perform. That's on me.
And that's for your teams. That's not even yourself, right? Where I know
Mm-hmm.
you focus a lot on the leader of the company and the
Yes.
owner. What does
Yes.
it look like for them to then say, hey, I've done what I need to do, and then you set that example in another way, you
Yeah.
know
It's funny you say
So,
that. I just had a call today, earlier this morning, working with a leader, and he's like, "I'm actually finally in your seat, Joel." And I'm like, "Congratulations!" And
hmm
being in my seat is literally what you guys see right now, where I don't go to the field and I just report to people all day, and I just delegate and direct. That's it.
that's it.
And he's like, "What do I do?" I'm like, "Great, you follow up all day." What do you mean? I'm like, "Well, you don't just get in the seat and not do anything.
Right.
You now have to follow up." So I always teach this: 80% of leadership is follow up. So I said it's quite simple. Between on Mondays, this is what his play is now. We just mapped it out today. On Mondays is all your one-to-one calls and your leadership training calls. Period. Your GSNR. Hey, how did we do last week? Why didn't we hit those goals? What are you gonna do differently this week? That's his call all Monday. So he's gonna do all his one-to-one meetings with his leadership team, and then go over their goals from last week, go over their goals for this week, make adjustments, hold them accountable. Moving forward, I said Tuesday through Friday, the rest of this week, guess what you do? Every morning from 8 to 10, you check in with all your leaders. How are we doing towards your goal? What's your plan for today? What's your team's plan for today? Then at 2 p.m., 3 p.m. at the end of the day, whether you did nothing all day, it doesn't matter to me. I care about those 2 touch point calls. The
hmm
first 2 hours of your day, the last 2 hours of your day, which is the follow up. How did we do on what you told me today? Oh, I got this done and this done. Great. What are you going to do proactively to still hit goal by the end of the day? I'm always just making sure you know what to do, and I don't just sit back and have to put myself back in the field again. That's the number one failure for most owners that get themselves completely out. They go, finally, I can go to on a trip for freaking 6 weeks. No, dude, you still haven't taught them accountability yet at the
Right.
highest level, right? Now your role shifts and you have to do follow up. Then, once they're used to that, you program their mindset on the follow up and they become great leaders. Then you can scale back and then you can automate.
hmm
Automations is you just checking on numbers. And if you see something off, then you check in with them. You no longer have to do so many checkups during the day, but you still have to do the one-to-one call on Mondays. That's the other phase I tell people. And if you don't focus on those things, I'm telling you, you're going to get back in the field immediately when someone quits or gets hurt, gets burned out, or they're not performing. You're back in that hamster wheel again. Why
Yeah.
would you do that? So I think that's important. That's something that I perfected very quickly for me.
Yeah. Dude, how you do one thing is how you do all things, right? That sequence of that day, starting out check-in, cool, ending on the check-in, but giving them a little bit of time to still finish strong.
Mm-hmm.
You do that at the end of the week and the beginning of the week. You do that at the beginning of the month and the end of the month, the quarter, the year. And that's how you get more than a dozen seven-figure companies. You know what I mean?
100%. Yeah. And you work your way
So,
out. It's that easy.
exactly.
Yeah.
So, just to kind of circle back to kind of where we started, discovering a little bit about you, um, who's a good fit for contractor excellence? I don't think we've ever covered this in
Yeah.
depth.
Yeah. It's so interesting. As much as I still teach SOPs and put my processes in people's business, the right fit for me is someone who's struggling mentally, where they're just in that game of overwhelm. I can immediately take that overwhelm from you on one call, and that's because of my background in the hypnosis and the neuropsychology. And that's the biggest thing. I'm very passionate in changing people's mindset, right?
Mhm.
And I push it because everybody's always like, well, mindset's temporary, mindset's just motivation. I'm not really doing mindset. I'm doing a reprogram of your mind. And that's changing your thought process, which is fixed versus growth. That's what I talk about when I do these online calls. You got to remember the perfect fit for me is a guy or a gal that just is overwhelmed. They can't see the light at the end of the tunnel. Those are my favorite people
Mm,
because I'm
okay.
like a hope dealer, right?
Yeah.
I
Right.
change your mindset. I'm going to get in your head and you're going to be like, damn, I didn't see that I can do this. That's what I like to do. It's my passion. And of course, we teach you systems and processes, but the first thing I do is I really build a pathway of thinking differently, and then everything else gets built. So I look at the approach differently. It's always up here first, and then everything else follows.
Yeah, I think that's different than any other program that I've heard about, to be honest.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
super unique, and you get to serve not just painters, right? I mean, you can be any home service trade and you can get results.
Of course. I have other contractors, right? We got landscapers. I mean, I call him LK, the landscape king. 19 years old. He's seasonal. He's going to do probably 700 grand this year in a 4-month time period. Landscaping, zero
Right.
marketing, door to door, just hustling, getting out there. Dude, the kid's a monster, right?
Wow.
And it was all mindset. All year last year, I didn't teach him anything business. Literally, I coached him for a year straight, preparing him for this season. No more overwhelm. He's just rocking at the highest level. He's like, I never imagined myself being here. I'm like,
I
I know.
remember that.
Yeah, you remember. Yeah. And
I
I tell
remember
him,
the
I'm like,
conversations, dude. In the beginning, he would put questions in there, and we'd all be like, "Look, valid question, but like, damn, bro, come on, you don't know this." We're just kind of like looking at, not really, but you're just
yeah,
making fun of it. And then, yeah, to see him now,
bro,
absolutely dominate, it's just
his
insane,
sales, I'm not even kidding, 70% close rate, dude.
dude. Landscape is a hard business too,
Hell
man.
yeah, dude.
It's a hard business. You
It
talk
is
about
close.
competition. I
Mm-hmm.
mean,
Yeah.
landscapers
So,
will undercut you all day and night.
and he's the highest charging guy. Dude, I get text messages all day long. I was the highest. I was the highest. I was the highest. But it was the
Yeah.
presentation and the confidence level that he got. He didn't get it overnight. I literally was in his head once a week for a year straight, dude. Like a year straight. I kept doing hypnosis. I kept rewiring. I kept doing NLP. I kept empowering him. Why do you think I nicknamed him Landscape King? I call him LK. I'm like, dude,
Yeah.
you're the LK, dude. And that's a constant program of him being like, yup, that's right. I got him to buy into a new identity that he didn't
Mhm.
believe. That's what I do.
I got two more things for you.
Yeah, let's do it.
What would you say a limited belief you see all the time people struggle with that you help people overcome constantly?
Yeah. I would say that they'll never make it. And what I mean by make it is anything in life, right? They go 7 figures is too far, which I think that's false. I think 7 figures is very easy. But they need someone like us to tell them that and then show them the roadmap to that. No pun intended, right? You
There
see
it
that?
is.
Yeah. The roadmap. So does that make sense? Like I
Yeah.
think what's common on these phone calls really is they can't see the end. The end is so far fetched to them, like it's just so far away that they're like, I don't even know how I'm even going to get there. And it's like, well, actually, let me simplify that for you. And what happens is this is why I love about coaching is when you actually did the work, you know what it looks like. You can say it's easy. If you didn't do the work, you can't say it's easy because you don't know how far it goes, right? That's why I'm constantly educating myself. I'm constantly putting me in very big challenges because I want to know that someone didn't outwork my path. And if they outwork my path, how can I coach them? I can only get
Hmm.
to a certain level. And that's a big deal for me. I obsess. I got 4 coaches right now. One's for health, one's for mental, right? I have a neuropsychologist, my Dr. Rosner, for hypnosis. I meet her every Thursday for an hour and a half. I just learn brain for an hour and a half every week, right? I got my human behavior profiling coach who worked in the CIA and taught the CIA for 20 years on how to pay attention to people's body. Like I'm taking all these things that I'm learning
Wow.
and integrating it into coaching. So like I hired the experts to be the expert and I'm taking the best of every world and putting it into one.
Hmm.
That's what I've done differently. And you're going to notice, mark my words on this podcast, coaching programs are going to start doing that. Watch. You got to understand the brain always gets in the way. And when you understand the brain at the highest level, you'll see the highest success. There's going to be a lot of coaching programs they're going to start understanding until you get somebody in that program of mindset or understand a level of mindset.
Yeah.
If you don't, you're going to get that difficult client and it's going to be hard to get through that head. And that's the importance of that. So that's why I say what I'm saying.
You good? You good for a minute or two?
I got a couple more minutes.
Okay.
LK will understand. I gave him some love earlier.
Dude, I just wanted to highlight, it's kind of like what we were talking about earlier. You see these individuals and they're kind of like, hey, how do I get there? How is he doing this? Right. And I know a lot of guys listening right now that see people that have had success, that have grown big businesses, 7 figures beyond,
Yeah.
they see them all over social media. How did they get there? And it's like literally where you're at and changing your mindset to open the possibility and being
Yeah.
open to your blueprint, roadmap, whatever you know, dictate is best for them. can literally change your life. I've seen it time and time again with your clients. I mean, the interviews like that you see online and stuff, those are legitimate lives who trust the process, were open to change, and now they're seeing the benefits of it. So,
Yeah.
damn, this is good, man. Really good. Can we end it on a quote? You got one in you,
Yeah.
dude, after all this game?
Yeah, I've been saying this same quote for last month because I truly believe in it. Everything changes when you change. Coach J.
There it is. Tell Austin I said what's up. All right, brother.
Will do, brother.
Appreciate you.